Well, then I'm one of the ones who's exhausted, as you can see. But I do want to thank everyone for the exhaustive and excellent contributions over the last couple of days. Many people have cited their pedigrees that they've been to 6 of these or 5 of these. This is my first. And what strikes me is the breadth of the curiosity, the catholicity, the universality of interest that doesn't just say we use categories of saying business or government or multilateral organizations, but the depth with which people get into their topics. That poses a problem for us. It poses a problem for us with focus because the broader we get and the more comprehensive we get, the more difficult this program becomes to manage. And I get back to those 2 questions I raised at the beginning. Are we doing something that no one else is doing? And are we anticipating the future? And by those 2 things, once again, are we the best people, or are the fora that we have and the way we go about these problems the best way to go about each of these questions in the most productive way? Can we think whether others can do it better or differently? Can we think whether our contribution that we've made so far can spin off to someone else? Or is it something we have to do, or else it just won't be done, or it won't be done in the way we need to? Similarly, doing today's questions might be nice. I would like to see us make sure that we do tomorrow's questions, that we anticipate such things as thinking of dates like 2030 or 2025 and imagining which questions are not being discussed by national governments, which questions are not being discussed by businesses, but among those among us who can foresee where these questions will go. How do we sharpen them and focus them? The feedback I have over the last couple of days has been that we are unique. We are unique in that we're doing things that others don't do. And so I'm encouraged that we're able to pursue questions that are very, very important no one else is doing. I'm especially struck by the increasing role and responsibility of the private sector, whether suppliers, customers, or intermediaries, in and for the security and management of cyberspace. That's something that when we think of the traditional role of the EastWest Institute and how it has brought governments together, we all know that's no longer going to be the case, but especially here. The interventions by Mr. Charney, by Ms. Douzet, by Mr. Admiral Owens, by Mr. Purdy, these are things that really emphasize just how important private sector is and how the private sector needs to be understood. I think also what I heard was that we increased the need for cooperation across national boundaries on security issues, whether through existing multilateral institutions or in other ways, in other manners. Mr. Ducaru, Mr. Roland, Mr. Helmbrecht, Mr. Schlegel all mentioned this, the idea of trying to go across traditional borders. So I think that we have covered extraordinary things. Those of you who've been doing this a long time, my hat's off to you. You're way ahead of the rest of us. But these are things that we should justifiably be proud of, and that we, led by Bruce in the Institute, are going to assess where are we going to go with this. Everyone wants to go to, there's various phrases like a new level, a new plateau, a new image of something going upward. Well, we have to make that real as well, and we will. So thank you so much to the speakers, to the EWI fellows, to the breakthrough group leaders, and all the participants for the fine work that you've done. I want to thank those EWI board members who were here, Matt Bross, Bob Campbell, Ralph Isham, Karen Rose, Bill Owens, and thanks, of course, so much to all of our sponsors. And we need more. Get to work, Bruce. And, of course, I can't neglect the EWI staff, led in absentia by Annalise Rogeman, who is here. She was not here. She was injured, but I think in spirit was leading the excellent members of the EWI staff who were here and helped so much. I would add, on a question about EWI, we are still planning to have our gala dinner celebrating our successes and looking forward to and anticipating things in the future. That dinner will take place on October 14th. And if those of you who haven't heard about this dinner might be interested in purchasing a table and taking part in the way that we address our successes and anticipate our future, I think Eda Telekoglu is here. Where's Eda? She's back in the back, waving at you. If you are interested and you haven't heard of this, please talk with Eda before you leave. we'd like to have as a great